All right, so today I'm going to be taking apart the front end on my 2008 Road Glide alloy lowers, and I'm going to go ahead and polish up this wheel. Let's take it apart. All right, first things first, wheel's going to come off, so I'm going to go ahead and get the bike jacked up here and lifted. I'm going to go ahead and take the time to polish it. And I think what I'm also going to do at the same time is I'm going to go ahead and drop these trees down lower to give myself a little bit more height. I just finished up installing the 14 RWDs. I went from 13s to 14s, so we're going to get a little bit more over there. So in turn, I'm going to go ahead and drop these down a little bit to get it a little bit higher off the ground as well. You can see plenty of line, plenty of slack here in the brake lines for me to be able to do that. So let's drop them down. All right, so quickly just removed the brackets for the calipers. Just have them hanging for right now. But this Alloy Art front end, these lowers, really nice machine lowers, and what I really like about them is the axle is kind of just flush and hidden. It has threads on the inside of this axle here, and so this piece spins all the way inside of a threaded piece, but it's got nice ARP, pinch bolts, a really nice front end. So this is just about ready to come out. Woo. Oh, this side is the axle side. This side is the threaded side. So this piece here, it's got threads inside of it all the way down in it, which connects, and the axle itself has the same threaded pieces. So I'm going to pull this out, get this wheel off of here. Got my little helper today. Get this wheel polished up, and go ahead and drop these trees down a little bit into these forks. I see oil, not good. May have a leak. All right, so front wheel completely removed. I usually take this time to go ahead and just kind of clean up my my calipers here. Not perfect by any means, but I did get them powder coated years ago, and so brake dust builds up, and so that is obviously never seen, but it was pretty bad before I wiped it all down. It's all pretty brake dusty in here, so just keeps them a little up to maintenance and up to par. Lasts me a long time. So next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to go ahead and drop these drop these legs a little bit lower down into the trees. Right now I've got from the base up to the top of this cap here 3 1/8 of an inch. Now I added an inch in the rear with the 14s, and that's why I have these set pretty tall, because previously I just had 13. So I don't think I'm going to go the full inch. I'm going to measure, but I'm thinking I'm going to go about 3/4 of an inch or so down. Get me a little bit more height. In combination with the 21-inch wheel, the longer tubes, this thing might be leaning on its side when it's done. That's why I'm not going to go too tall. So I'm not a kickstand block kind of guy, but if I keep going taller with this thing, I may need to. So I'm going to go ahead and drop these down a little bit. Pretty simple, actually, with these. These are Geezer Glide trees. They got some Allen head pinch bolts. There's 3 of them here, and there's 2 of them up here on top. So I'm just going to loosen those, and that'll allow the leg to kind of slide down. And then I'll measure them so that they're even on both sides. So of course I can get the wheel back and aligned. If you don't have them even, you're gonna have a crooked axle here, and they won't line back up. So I'm gonna drop these down just about 3/4 of an inch or so, maybe a little less, maybe only about a 1/2 inch. But I'm gonna start loosening these pinch bolts and get this thing lowered, or I guess lifted a little bit. So I think that's gonna be about where I'm gonna go. I went 1/2 an inch down. I'm not gonna go a full. What do you want? Here, you can take these bubbles. Okay. All right, so I think that's about all I'm going to go down on this. I actually kind of, it's marked up from previous where it was sitting before, so you can see where it was wearing just below and inside the lower tree here. So I kind of use this as a gauge, so I didn't have to go up to the top triple tree. And I set these at about 1/2 an inch, and then this obviously wasn't my final measurement. Your final measurement should definitely be right here to make sure that they're even. So from the bottom of the triple tree to the very top of my cap here on my GPs, I got 2 5/8 of an inch sticking up. It was 3 1/8, so I went down about 1/2 an inch with it. I've already got a 21-inch wheel and the longer tubes, so I don't want to go too nuts with it. You definitely have to keep in mind the trail and the rake and everything on this. You don't want the bike kind of propped up in this direction. You want it kind of even across the frame, at least, just kind of eyeball it. You can definitely see right now that my frame is sitting up a little bit, but I do need to come down with the jack. So I'm going to give this a whirl. If it's too much, then I just take it off and I redo it. But since I went up in the back a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and go up in the front a little bit as well. And obviously I can only go so much with what my brake lines allow me. I have extra long brake lines to give me that little bit of extra clearance and slack that I need. So if I want to drop these trees and keep going with them, I can. But for now, that's going to be where I'm going to leave it at. I'm going to polish up the wheel here and get everything slapped back on. All right, so we're going to start back in on the reassembly. Just buttoned up the rotors here, got them back on. Little tip. Don't buy black ARP bolts. These got caught in the... My bike sees the rain, but I got caught in the rain and I didn't wipe it down, and these things just rust. So if you're going to buy ARPs, just buy polished ones because these suck. So I got the wheel all polished up, got the rotor mounted, both of them back up. Got this adjusted and everything tightened down correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this on. I definitely know I'm going to have to raise the bike up a little bit more because I went lower. These are now lower, and wheel's not going to fit. So I'm going to have to raise it up off the jack a little bit to get this wheel slid in. And let me get this wheel lined up, and I really want to get it off the ground to see how much it leans. And what it's looking like and what it feels like sitting on it with the new shocks and then the taller, the tube being a little bit taller. So let me get this wheel buttoned up here. All right, so for me, the easiest way to get this front wheel in when it's up on the jack is to use the jack, because you can raise it very slowly in increments that are very slow. And what you'll notice is I've got it up to a point where the axle and the lowers are lined up just about where they need to go. I actually probably need to come, it's pretty damn close actually. So this allows you just to do it on your own, and you'll be able to kind of tap the axle through and then get your spacers, you know, in the correct spots that they need to go. Spacer here, keep sliding it through so that you're not having to, you know, hold up the wheel at the same time that you're trying to get the axle through. So if you have a jack stand, it definitely makes it a lot easier, especially one like this where you can just dial it in very easy with your socket. Just turn it and you can get it up in very short increments. So just a little tip for you if you're ever struggled with getting your wheel on by yourself. I put them on by myself all the time. Just you got to know how to use your tools the correct way. So this is a good example of how you'll just kind of raise it. You'll get your mallets, you get a dead blow, and you'll just tap that sucker in there. I probably need to go up just a hair, but what you'll do is you'll get the axle just about to that tip right there, and so that you can slide the other spacer in. I've eliminated the ABS on mine, so normally if you have a late model, you're going to see a ABS sensor that's going to be used here in order to fill in this gap here. I've eliminated the ABS, so I'm using a good old-fashioned spacer in here. So, but this is pretty much positioned to the right height that it needs to be. Get a dead blow, tap away, and that's it. So let me get this thing moving. Let me get it all the way over here to the other side. Let me see if I'm trying to do it with one hand. Not necessarily while I'm recording. Is not the easiest. There we go. So now you can kind of see what I mean. You get the axle sort of right on the tip right there, and that way you can get the slider. You can get your spacer, whether it be your ABS one or one like mine, where it's just a good old spacer. You get it lined up right there, and then we will get the spacer. I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand, but you get the point. You get the spacer lined up right inside of there, and then you'll be able to keep tapping it through. All right, front wheel, everything buttoned back up, and I ended up adjusting these slightly, and then my dumb ass realized that when I mounted it up, I had no weight on it, and so these were stretched to their kind of capacity, and I was like, I don't like that, they're stretched too much. Well, my dumb ass, realizing that there's no weight on the damn bike, and once the weight was down, then the weight of the bike is going to compress the front end. and then I got more slack in them. So I ended up moving them back up about 1/4 of an inch, only to find out that I had plenty of room. So I'll do it again some other day. I'll take them off, kind of stretch them to the max that I can as they sit there, and then once they compress, I get a lot more slack inside the brake line. So I'm going to roll it off though for right now. Let's go see what this thing looks like on the ground now with the 14-inch shocks and another 1/4 inch drop down on the tubes here. Let's see. All right, there she is sitting on the ground, and I'd say she's got a little bit of a lean to her, a little bit more than what she was before. Give you a view from the front here. I definitely could get some more out of it, and I'm not necessarily going for a lean on a look, but I'm gauging the lean on how much height clearance I have compared to before. But you can definitely tell she's sitting sideways, so I think I will end up taking the wheel off again and dropping those tubes down a little bit. In addition, I'm probably gonna have to take them off anyway because appears that I have a leak now, so they're gonna have to come off any damn way. So that's it for the night. 14s. I'll go run them here in probably the next day or so. Go see how everything feels with the new shocks. Get them dialed in, rebound, compression, and just see what it feels like sitting at the height that it feels now. So hope that helps with anything you're doing out there for sure. Gives you an idea maybe of how much lean this will give you when you got 14s and you're running taller tubes. Just give you some basic idea. Hope you enjoyed.